guys, it's me again. This time I decided, the passenger mirror light is allowed to be open when people are putting on makeup at night while you're driving. So I'll turn it on so you can see me. Hey! Alright, I think today's morning ramble, thought stream of today, is how I think the majority of Western society, which would be the US, all of Europe, the English-speaking countries, the countries that all use the English language to communicate, as well as the European languages, all of Western civilization. Mentally, we all kind of group it together as, well, basically, we all really see it as the world because we've never been taught about the other civilizations. Asian influence, history, South American, African. We've never really been taught any of that. The only history we've ever been taught has been European world history. That's it. So according to most of Western civilization, European world history is all there is. There was nothing until Christopher Columbus came over here. And then, ta-da, America was born. That's the US mindset. So, it feels like everyone in those areas is finally starting to snap out of it. And that whole capitalism itself isn't really bad. As long as it's a free and open and honest market, then it's not bad at all. The problem was our money system itself was crooked because it was all based on shadiness. If you look into any of it, you'll realize, hey, you know, this was kind of shysty. This doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at it logically, but it is shysty. So, it feels like there's two factions right now that are kind of battling it out, which humans are a duality-based consciousness. But the two factions are, this is what I know will work, and this is what I think will work. Now, if you look at the predatory, unfettered side of capitalism, those people are all this is what I think will work. The people who still know the right way to do things, I know it's going to sound bad, and there's probably going to be people that get mad at me for saying it, but the faith-based side is still about doing it the right way, the right thing, because they have a foundation of right and wrong that they're following. They're not basing everything on what they think is right. We've all been taught to think that money is the most important thing, that profitability is all that matters because the company you work for survives because of profits. So without profits, you don't have a job. So we only have to quest after profits. This is what I think is right. But if you use a faith-based system of morality, then right and wrong is your foundation for doing anything. What's right and what's wrong. Not what's profitable, what's cheap. It's what's right and what's wrong. That's this group. So, it really feels like all of us in Western civilization are finally snapping out of it. We're snapping out of the little spell we've been put under that makes us think that money's the most important thing. Because doing it the right way guarantees you keep making money. The other way is nothing but a giant gamble hoping that nobody catches on, hoping the worst doesn't happen, hoping those cheap clips that you're using to install this piece, because you're saving 7 cents a unit, will last long enough that the customer won't start viewing you as a piece of crap. You're hoping, you're gambling, you're betting the whole pony on that commercial being enough to sway people past the reality that they're driving a piece of crap, or they're using a piece of crap, they're buying a piece of crap. The whole designed obsolescence phase that capitalism is going through, that's based on us thinking money is the most important thing. It's not. That's the money side of it. If you do it the right way, yeah, your profit margin isn't going to be as big. It's just not. Hell, you might not even have a profit margin. You might just break even, which is, that break-even point used to be called something that people recognized. What was it that they were called if you didn't make a profit? I'll let you think about that. If a company doesn't make any profit and just breaks even, they get some sort of a tax incentive because of that. If they only break even, if they don't try to make extra money above and beyond what they need, and you could classify R&D as a need, which would continue your company should you have problems. If you invest in R&D, you are investing in your company's future, which means you are investing in your community's continued well-being. So R&D can be classified as a needed expense. Advertisement can to a point, but you can't go overboard in the hopes of talking people into buying your stuff. You have to keep it simple so that word of mouth is your advertising. So if you get back to doing things the right way, which would be the non-money based, the right way, this one right here, the right way of doing things, then your need for commercials drops drastically, because people trust you and they tell everybody about you, and word of mouth is 100 times more likely to sell your product than a flashy commercial with big name anything or musical scores. The Showtime theatrics to sell products isn't working anymore. The tricks we used to get people to just unknowingly jump at things to buy them, those are no longer working, because now people are thinking. They're using their brain. They're not trusting that everything's taken care of for them. That's falling apart because we're all talked into thinking money's the most important part. Therefore, everything's based on profitability instead of doing the right thing. So if we can get just 60% of the populace, 60% of your company, 60% of where you work. My voice cracked, I heard it. If you can get 60% of the people where you work to think the same way, then those other 40% become the minority. And the minority never wins when it comes to decisions just through democracy. Part of our issue has been that the TV, magazines, and everything talked us into thinking that the profitability way of thinking was the majority. They never have been. We've just been talked into thinking they were by the corporations. by the ones who profit off of us thinking it's all about money. The ones who make money off of money. If you're making money off of transactions, then you want as many transactions to occur as possible. Get back to the logical way of doing things. Get rid of the ability to make money on money, and everything gets better. Right now, you can manipulate the economy by changing the values of certain commodities and precious metals. Those are easily changed by just selling off a bunch here, which drops the price, buying it back over here, which raises the price. When it dropped, you were able to sell it because you put it on a short market, which means you can still sell it at a predetermined value, even if the value drops below the value that it is now worth, or that you had on your short. So you could say, I'm buying this, and I'm going to be able to sell it even if it drops to $1,000. And they're like, okay, it's going up. It'll never go down, so you're good. So you get a return on investment. So now if it drops below that, you're still guaranteed to sell it here. So you can have one company sell off his holdings here at the exact same time this company buys back the holdings at a cheaper price, but you control both companies. Now you just made profits not only on this, but on this, and now you hold more of the value, the assets that rise back up to here because everybody bought, which raises the price. And all of those transactions are occurring at the split nanoseconds of market open and market close. So the algorithms they have in place, because they run the stock market, they did, but they run the stock market, they can do a $400 million transaction a nanosecond before they do another 3 million transaction to buy it back, which raises the price upon selling, or which lowers the price upon selling, and then raises the price back up upon the purchase. And that's before any other computer nationwide has updated to a value that people can see. All they can see is market shifts and stuff trading. That's all they see. They see the ghost actions that, though, that just must be the system. It's how it works. If every one of the super rich people are using computers that have a transfer rate that's, let's just make it a perfect world. If all of the people at the top have computers with a real-time transfer rate, that means that the moment the main server's clock ticks over to market open, they can have transactions occur within 1 second. Millions of dollars of transactions, 1 second. All transacted and done. It's already completed. Now your algorithms have both lowered the price to a point where the commodity is now cheaper because you sold off. You had your money on a short market, so you made money selling it off. Then you buy back here. So it's, yeah, I know I'm confusing as hell with my hand movements because I'm just working it out in my head too. But that's how it goes. You can have one group sell off a whole bunch of holdings. You can have another group buy back the holdings, which brings the price back up because they got it at a lower market value. But if you control both companies, the losses the first company had from the sell-off are less than the profits made by the second company's buyback with the higher value attached. So it's dark trading. dropping the value and then raising it and buying back more holdings before you saw what's happening. It's starting to come out, and with the quantum financial system we're going to, then it won't be able to happen because it'll be real time for everybody. And the people who are interested and watch this like hawks will catch it in real time, and it won't be allowed to happen. So our ability to look into stuff and to read facts and find out for ourselves is trumping their ability to talk us all into thinking what's really happening. Because the ones of us that don't believe them and have to look for ourselves are finding out that the story is actually other than what they're telling us. It's all getting better. Somehow I feel like this trip had an initial destination right here, but in my storytelling I ended up over here, but you get the point. So I'll talk to you all later. I love you and have a good day.